Oh my, quality stuff, Mott. Well done, well done.
Can we just talk about this real quick? Let me just. I know what you're all thinking.
And he did already own the book before he got here.
All right,
Yes.
we've got a draft for game 2, so we're gonna hop right into it here. The teams wanted
Just
to waste
wait.
no time. Mott, please.
Just wait, all right? Not a psychopath, all right? That's all that I wanted to throw out. For any of you that are wondering why 50 Shades of Grey, we read it during Moonduck and Chill. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, very good.
Everything else, whatever. Who
I'm sure
cares?
there's 15 people that watch Moonduck and Chill remember it very well, Mott.
It was like 2,000. Come on, man. Don't be like that.
All right, and we got a
So what do we have here, boys? Game number 2.
quicker Spirit Band. Obviously, that hero's never getting through, ever.
Yeah, Void Chen. All right, these bands
those
all
are-
make sense. The Rubik band's a little bit interesting here. Quite a few good supports still left in the pool, though. Visage, Coddle, Ogre. A lot of options.
Yeah, there are. Bottom side of it. All those.
Even the Sand King.
Yep, exactly. Legion Commander got through. I mean, Black isn't in the game.
Yeah, no
but he's
black,
just-
so Legion not banned.
Yeah, it's. I don't know anyone who plays it quite like Black, but I know EG plays it, Vega. Everyone plays it, and I assume it'll get picked up. I just don't know where. I doubt we'll see another mid Legion Commander.
Whoa. Okay, so we've seen TA in a lot of these pools, and she has actually been ignored almost completely.
Yep, not
banned
When
or
we've
picked.
seen her picked, it's been almost always 4th or 5th pick. A bold opening from EG here.
Well, it is bold. It is weird to see it first pick, but this is like I think one of Smale, and I think RTZ plays it as well. So I mean, it's not shocking that it's picked up, but I think Vega go for the interesting pick. They go for the Jigoro. It's pretty good against the Templar Assassin, good for pushing as well.
Yeah, a lot of DOT.
I don't know if, I mean, a lot of teams have been playing it in the support role. The offlane role has kind of gone by the wayside, and people that play against support still get really early, like Yule Scepters, and do a good job with it. So
Do you think Vega may go for a push strat here? There's a Dragonite in the pool. They could go the Dragon build.
I think Dragon Knight's. I mean, look at all the other mid heroes. You got Dragon Knight, you got a Storm, maybe a Silencer.
Alk.
There's not many other mid heroes. Yeah,
There
Alk.
is an Alk who's pretty
against
good against DK.
TA, I think is.
It's just I think
Yeah.
Sumail. I mean, besides
rather.
Storm, TA is like Sumail's one of his best heroes, and you might as well
Yeah.
just scoop it up when it's Captain's Draft mode. Less heroes to pick from. Just scoop up the most dominant mid hero and hope he goes to town.
Although also there is a Clinks, by the way, if RTZ wants to play that.
And there's
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
Second pick Spectre.
That's
Not surprised to
interesting.
see Spectre, but this early on in the draft.
I don't know. This is interesting, guy. I feel like. What do you pick here to like counteract the Spectre? Because you pick it so early, and there's ways to deal with it. I feel like maybe get is Phoenix okay against Spectre, or I don't know, man. Like
there's kind of a lack of burst damage in this pool in general.
Yeah, there's a good chance we might see an RTZ AM here, just for to counter the Spectre. Yep, well, there's Legion Commander. So.
No surprise on that one.
Said,
She's
yeah.
been the talk
do you
of
think
the
that's
town.
off lane? It could be, maybe.
Ooh.
Silencer. So this is, I believe we saw Fear play Silencer last time they picked it up. Could assume that's going for him. And yeah, Legion Commander is definitely, Universe does play it. So,
All right.
and I've seen RTZ play it. So, I mean, your guess is as good
Is
as
there
mine
any
right
chance
now.
EG does a farming silencer here?
Not with the
Not
TA,
against Spectre.
I don't think.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the other here. Well, maybe. Depends what Vega scoops up here. They could get like a
Mag
Visage and an
Clock.
Ogre, and then just run a Trial with Silencer. And then, I mean, that tri-lane is pretty damn deadly, but
All right, well-
there's Visage, so.
Never mind. Nice deny pick from Vega. Or potential deny pick. Going with some kind of a bird strat,
That is a decent amount of burst damage coming through with the Visage. Dual Breath dots can do a lot of damage. I don't know. I feel like Visage is just a good lane dominator, and as a way to, if they're going to have it in the safe lane, and if it is going to be a Universe Legion Commander, they can really zone him out really effectively.
The
So
birds are pretty good against TA. Get all those small instances of damage to
Yeah.
mess with the refraction.
yeah. So we still, what do we need left for EG? We're assuming that this Legion is going to be off lane, right?
Yes.
Silencer is going to be almost certainly a support, and then you have a mid TA,
I
so
think
you're
they're
looking for a
pretty
safe
safe
laner,
assumptions.
and another support coming out from EG.
Yeah.
And Sand King is, well, now maybe it looks like it could be Legion safe lane because Universe has also been known to play off lane Sand
I
King
mean, this
too.
is completely open-ended. The only thing we
Right.
know is TA is going to be a
the
farming
mid.
core in the mid. And now they grab Phoenix. So it could be Sand King, Phoenix, or LC in the off lane.
I
It could be
think-
a position for Sand King in the jungle.
I think it's, this is so hard to see to
But
say
it's
what it's going to be.
a support silencer,
I think it
though,
has
for
to be.
sure.
I think it has to be safe lane Legion now, right?
I think
I don't
so.
see you. You can farm a Sand King safe lane. I mean, it's been done before. Phoenix, I doubt that's going to be the case. Phoenix is more.
Yeah.
I think you could utilize Phoenix in a support role. You could get away with the Sand King in the off lane. Silencer is definitely probably the 5 position, I believe. In
I
this
like the idea of the Phoenix in the off lane because then it opens up the jungle for Sand King. So we can
Right.
focus on the Blink Dagger in that early game. And
That's
now
true.
the final pick for Vega, the
That's
Clinks.
Clinks, which is really interesting because That's going to be one of these heroes is going to be mid, right? And it's more than likely going to be Clinks. I think no one's going to play that, which is it's actually not terrible against a Templar Assassin. Assuming the refraction isn't up, the amount of damage you can pump onto a squishy TA with no refraction is pretty impressive, especially in the early game when it's like level 1 refraction or something like that.
This is a relatively low armor team in general, so I think Clinks is going to do really
Right,
well.
and
Here.
he'll
If he
get,
ends
like,
up
a
getting a
deso.
well-timed deso. I mean,
Yeah.
Phoenix starts with 0 armor, Sand King, so
And
none,
it is going to
none
be
of these.
RTZ in the safe lane, and I think he needs to get an Assault Crest for that exact reason, to get some armor to buff up his team. So we'll wait and see if that's going to be the case.
Armor will be a big deal this game. So this is game number 2, folks. Again, this is the winner bracket finals. Winner of this goes to the grand finals coming up on the final day of our tournament here. EG leads 1-0 in this series. And with that, we're going to hand it over to Suns fan and Purge to take it away.
Hello everybody, welcome to PIA Captain's Draft 3.0 presented by Dota Center on moonducktv. My name is Sunsfan, joined by Pimp on OBS/production and Purge from Purge Gamers, otherwise known as Purge Gamers. How are you doing for game 2 between this best... Oh, I thought my game crashed, but in fact it's a pause.
I'm a little upset that you ate my corn dog in the Mott video. That was mine.
I thank God you didn't lick it.
I was very close in some of those cuts. I'm not gonna lie. I put it up to my mouth. I opened it and I was like, "Am I gonna lick this?" Nope, I didn't do it though.
The fact that you refused to take a bite meant that I had to make a cameo, so I appreciate it.
Well, it's not like it was the first time you're in the video. So
That's
it's
true.
Really, no big deal.
I made several cameos.
you're like in the movie more than Mott was practically. All right, so with the hero picks, they're talking a lot about Clinks mid. I think it's probably the way they're going to go, but lately the other game we saw Clinks mid, I really didn't feel it went that amazing. I think it was your team that played it, actually, because the heroes actually, despite him being able to go invis, he's actually pretty gankable, because the level 1 Shadow Walk only gives you about 11% movement speed, so that means if you gank him with 2 or 3 disables, he dies anyways. And EG has pretty good
2
rotators.
or 3 I feel like you say that about any hero, 2 or 3 disables.
I mean...
But I
they
know what
kind
you
of
mean.
have weak disables, right? They've
Okay,
got
weak
PPD
disables.
playing silencers, so they're going to have, what, 14, 16% movement speed slow? I mean, that plus their mid hero, which is a TA. Like, if you get a stun and another small slow plus a TA, any hero dies, more or less, unless they can blink. But I feel like with the heroes they have, that Clinks might do very well last hitting, but I feel like Templar Assassin doesn't really care. I feel like TA is still going to be able to last hit very well. And I'm not completely sold on that. And EG also has better heroes for rotations as a whole, whereas Vega is kind of limited towards, what, Clockwork ganks and what's their next disable? Ice Path? Like, the hero lineup doesn't come together extremely well, I feel.
I mean, the one thing they do have is the Clinks Strafe versus the Phoenix Egg, but that's a 4-position Phoenix. Now,
no, it's not actually. It's an offlane. Universe is playing it.
Oh, they switched at the last second. Okay.
Right,
That's what I originally thought it was going to be, but then Fear originally picked it. Maybe they're trying to mess them up in the laning
very,
stage.
very possible. It's a smart
Teams
thing to
actually do that for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm sure they had him on Sand King originally and then swapped over. With Phoenix offlane, though, I think he's going to get zoned pretty hard against Visage, against Jakiro. Those 2 heroes can output a lot of range damage. So,
Well, I was going to say I'm most interested in seeing Arteezy on Legion Command. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
he's got the Arcana,
Iron
so,
Talon
I mean,
right away, by the way.
Oh, is he just jungling, dude?
Is this a jungling Arteezy? Is this a real thing? I mean, if you look at his items here, he's only gotten 131 duels won. How many games do you think that is?
Probably 1. He's probably only played 1
1 game?
Legion Commander
That's a
game,
lot of
yeah.
duels won for 1 game.
He's an AK player, dude. That's what you do. You
I
win a
guess
lot.
that's a good point. Oh,
That
a little
didn't
bit
quite
too
get
late
it.
for Universe.
Jakiro's prepping for that one. There's an Iron Talon on Phoenix. Very interesting. That's the weird Iron Talon, let's be real.
Yeah, he's
He
taking
actually
a
just
lot of
almost
damage.
killed him here.
Jesus.
But Jakiro did get a base damage buff. I mean, he's a dragon that shoots fire. You should do more damage with his basic right click, in my
Yeah, I think
opinion.
so too. That's a great point. I mean, by that logic, a lot of heroes should do a lot more damage, but we're going to focus on the dual-headed dragon for now.
Maybe they're just dual jungling Phoenix Legion Commander with Iron Talons. That way they can kill large creeps faster.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think what they're doing is very smart here, because if Arteezy can get this super big gold increase at the start of the game, they can give Fear a solo lane. So it's basically like they have a jungling Enigma, but it's actually a carry. And you just get so much from Iron Talon. You level extremely fast with that. Phoenix has already been ultra harassed here. They just are prepping for all of his movements, and now Soul's going to go mid and probably pressure mid.
Universe also has the Iron Talon, so you can just do the exact same thing that Arteezy is doing as PPD and company in the mid lane. I think they saw Visage, as obviously they do now, as the ward is going to be denied. Very nicely done from PPD. That's actually a decent amount of experience that could have gone away solo. He's going to take a ton of damage, though, as a result. Looks like he'll live through the day. That's Sumail. Pretty damaged as well in this mid lane. But Legion Commander is actually a good... I mean, I know people hate on her, She's actually a good jungler now that
She
Iron
is now,
Talon's in
yeah.
the game.
She was pretty bad before. It took her a long time to hit level 6, like 10 minutes or something. Now you can hit at a much faster rate.
Yeah, the only problem with her is like it's just a little awkward trying to gank with that duel because you have to get set up for it.
Yeah.
And luckily they have Sand King's Burrow Strike for that.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. And depending on what item he builds, could really lead them up into the start of the game. One thing they are missing, though, is burst damage, I think. It's going to kind of require Sumail to get a fast blink dagger this game because I'm thinking about some of the ganks he'll do later. If he like does a blink duel, then what's their follow-up? Like Phoenix damage, silencer damage. It's got to basically be Sand King ultimate every time or the TAs in those ganks. So I feel like EG might have some trouble in the mid game getting little ganks off here and there.
PPD taking more damage from Jakiro. Sioma just really hating on poor Peter Dagger. Sumail very low. I believe he has a bottle being crowed. No. Wait,
Yeah.
where's the bottle?
They're actually all very low on regen. It's on the courier, right? Oh, he
No,
went boots first. Okay.
Yeah.
So he went boots salve. He did this last game as well, actually. I think it might be in a goal to try to pressure your mid hero more. If he has mobility advantage over Clinks, he can force out things like skeleton walks, or he can just run at his face and trade a bit better. If you combo it together with a silencer, I think it's an okay choice. It's better than what a bottle would do. Bottle would allow him to trade. If he gets boots of speed, he can just pressure his opponent's HP a lot better.
Fear, of course, on the Sand King versus Clockwork. Pretty good matchup for Fear, honestly. I mean, it'd be pretty difficult for Clockwork to kill Sand King without any kind of vision. And the Caustic Finale is just ridiculously good. It's going to go in with the Burrow Strike. Universe is here. Has the Fire Spirits available. Uses Icarus Dive as well. Mag getting ticked down very low. Another Fire Spirits hit. It's not going to be enough for a kill, but definitely forces the Clockwork out. As PPD here for moral support. Throws out one nuke.
Take this.
And walks away with Jakiro being, okay, that you do a lot less damage than me, bro. That's
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
Jakiro's going to take way longer to back and return. Never mind, he's back. It did nothing. It was
I'm
actually
saying.
worthless. Peter actually just wasted his mana,
His
but it's
last
not
word,
a
level
big
1.
deal.
Yeah.
It's making his opponent slightly more scared. Phoenix does have both of his skills right now, but his HP is to the point where he's got to be a bit careful. But who's the real winner right now? It's Arteezy, man. He's got 21 last
Alright,
hits.
so is Arteezy just going to stay in the jungle, or are they just waiting for Fear to get a few levels so he can take over the jungle?
The only reason that he shouldn't jungle right now is if he either wants to gank or lane pressure.
Plus, he doesn't have Sandstorm, so they're definitely not going to go jungle Fear at all.
Yeah, he's actually a little bit of trouble here. He could die. No, okay, they're going to give up. He doesn't quite know that they don't have Sandstorm. He's going to go for the neutrals. He wants to get this last hits.
He got one of the big boys, and Jakiro looks like he got the others. As PPD is here again for
Okay.
moral support, level 3 on that silencer.
So for Arteezy, he basically either ganks or he just hardcore farms until he gets Blink or whatever item he's picking up. So if the only other reason he wouldn't do that is if his enemy supports are pressuring him. Sumail's getting wrecked mid, by the way.
Jeez.
He actually he got that salve, he went mid, he lost all his HP, he went back to base. And they just got back to lane again. His HP's gone again. No one is just beating him every time he comes back.
Still no bottle up on Sumail, and looking at the CS, it's 13-4 versus the Clinks at 24-9. So definite win there so far.
Ugh. I mean,
for the Clinks.
if they didn't have an AFK jungle hero, they would be losing this really badly. I mean, they are losing gold advantage by quite a bit here.
Experience is pretty much dead even, on the other hand. But yeah, the gold lead, slight advantage for Vega. I shouldn't say, it's not that slight, though. I mean, we're talking about 4.5 minutes in, 1,000 gold lead. That's not too shabby for Vega.
All right, Arteezy's skill build disgusts me.
All right, let's take a look at it. It's a 0-2-3. I kind of agree. I like getting one casual and press the attack, not more than one.
I mean, he's got 3 points in Moment of Courage. Like,
Yeah, that's great.
I think he's basically saying, like,
He's
my
actually
team
AFK
has
jungle.
no damage mid-game, so I just need as many Moment of Courages as possible. I mean, if Clinks uses Strafe and he duels him, these lower levels, or the more levels of Moment of Courage is definitely beneficial. And yes, this is going to accelerate him, but it means that the mid-game team fights, he's going to be awful.
Wait,
he won't
what's
do
your
anything.
jungling LC build then?
4-1-1 or something is
Really?
best for team fighting. Maybe an extra point in a Moment of Courage I think you can be justified
Okay,
for.
interesting.
Sumail's just getting so pressured by Jakiro. He just shows up in the lane, and he hits him with damage over time, and then as soon as the refraction's gone, Clinks hits him for a bunch of damage.
Yeah, Refraction is pretty useless against Jakiro overall, which is unfortunate for Sumail. But he's come back in many a games before. Everybody's creates space for that mid player VG, and
He's ultra pressured. He's having a really tough time mid, but Sumail can always come back.
I can't remember the last time I've seen Sumail not have a bottle 6 minutes in the game. He's just going to pick up this rune raw. Is that a thing? I'm raw dogging it, guys. Pick
I
up
knew you were going to
pace.
say that. I mean, sometimes a moment of passion strikes you, and you need to get back to mid as fast as
I mean,
possible.
S4 knows what that's all about. The haste runes are just his babies.
At least he tactically uses haste runes. It's really the difference between like family planning and just straight up unprotected sex.
Man, that's these analogies are on point. My goodness. Sumail, another refraction taken off pretty easily. I mean, you don't really think about it, but Klinks can take it off pretty quick too, as long as he has the strafe available. It attacks very, very fast.
Yeah.
Bottom lane, triple smoke. Arteezy has his ultimate available. Can they initiate properly onto Mag? Fear would have to burrow strike, and unfortunately, PPD doesn't really do a whole lot. And Arteezy has treads, so opts for treads instead of just straight up blink.
Damage potential, basically. He can right-click somebody faster. That's basically it. It also gives him a lot more mana, so he can use press the attack a couple more times. But I just find it so bizarre that he doesn't get at least one overwhelming odds. One skill point at least would give him the movement speed. The movement speed is the same at all levels, so getting at least one would allow him to close the distance a bit faster.
Universe has to dives out top. Pasha haunts in, does a little bit of damage, and PPD scares the Spectre away, who takes additional damage from the tier 1.
He did some weird haunting there, but kind of hopped over.
Sumail anytime being stalked by Klinks.
Overfraction.
The courier kind of, I don't know if you saw that. It is nighttime, so probably did not see the courier.
Finds Arteezy. I don't think Arteezy cares, though. Okay, he cares a little bit.
Arteezy
And
continuing to jungle, top lane in the meantime. PPD's taken out. Pasha, very low, attempting to TP out. There's Universe, though. Yeah. Not going to have any burst damage because it is a Phoenix. It's all damage over time.
That was a good escape there. It does give him first blood. A bit late there, considering that EG's been getting very low in a lot of the different lanes. But with Sand King almost at Blink Dagger, he's got 1,500 gold, and Arteezy killing a lot of neutral creeps. They're going to eventually get to a point where they can fight much better than their opponents.
Yeah, for sure. Fear, Blink. He got the Tranquil Boots, so not going to be going Arcane or anything like that. I guess that's a little bit more common these days.
Especially against a heavy physical damage lineup like Klinks, for example.
Yeah.
And even Visage does a lot of physical damage when his birds
are
are
up. Do you think Aether Lens is the next item after that, or do you go straight into Ags?
Go
or
anywhere,
like
dude.
Veil? I mean, I think Veil would be better on Universe this game.
It entirely depends on the game. Veil would be better on Phoenix, I agree with that. Maybe even Silencer. Phoenix may die top now.
He dives out. Remember, this skill, Icarus Dive, ridiculously long cooldown. So once he uses it, he can't really go back to lane until it's at least close to coming back. Sumail trying to catch up. Has the bottle, of course, finally in tow, taking out some ancient stacks. And this is pretty difficult for him considering how far behind he is at the moment. And look at the net worth as I struggle horribly with it. He is, wow, middle of the pack. That not often you see that.
Yeah, he'll catch up though. He's Sumail, man. And he didn't die either, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like, he's already got 39 CS versus Klinks is 55. Like, all these little ganks that Klinks has done, none of them got anything done.
We have essentially a solo smoke by Sioma on the Jakiro.
God, I'm
not often you see that.
I'm so disgusted by this Arteezy build. People are going to justify it in pubs now, and it's going to be disgusting.
Well, it's good in some senses and bad in others, right? Like the Q is it's more consistent damage in fights. But maybe he's not looking to have team fights. He's just looking for just duels and duels and duels.
He's just looking for farm is what he's looking for. I think the only way we can justify this skill build is EG knows that Vega's not going to fight for a really long time. All they have to do is make sure they don't die to Klinks ganks, and there won't be that many ganks coming from Vega. They have kind of a weird lineup. It's like Jakiro, Visage, ganks. Like, it's so weird. It's like damage
honestly,
over time.
They can create space very easily, can EG, because he now has a Blink Dagger on Fear. I mean, normally you don't see a Sand King with a Blink Dagger 10 minutes, so this is extremely good, especially considering they nerfed the jungle for him specifically. So the question is, as there's a Bracer built by Arteezy, is he just going to go drums? No Blink right off the bat?
They did build that. Black built it the other day.
Yeah.
It'll make up for some of that lack of early team fight that he has due to his skill build.
And Sumail, again, forced out of lane. Just has to go back to base. That doesn't bother doing the old bottle crow trick, since that was also nerfed. So many things being nerfed for these high-skill EG players.
Universe is up to 7 as well. And if any fight happens anywhere, Phoenix can show up. And that's actually a huge threat to the aggressiveness that Vega may want to provide. And they're starting to put sentries down to protect against the Klinks as well.
Yeah, they're going to see Klinks, PPD. Should see him now. His hookshot is going to miss. Haunt is coming in as well. PPD pops his ult in the meantime. Gets decimated to the right clicks of Spectre. Lots of TP support for EG. Here comes the Icarus dive. No one attempting to TP out, but the Burst Strike will find him. And that is a great trade into a duel, in fact. The first for our Arteezy, Legion Commander. 10 extra damage for you.
Who needs overwhelming odds?
Don't think he needs it there, but either way, Fear finds Sioma. Dust is going to show him. Sioma has the ice path. If he wants to use it, cogs are going to be placed decently well. And Fear, he's going to be the trade.
Okay.
So it's a 2-for-1, technically speaking.
Ooh, Sumail in trouble still.
Oh, man.
He
Sumail, you're
can
in
maybe
really
meld.
deep.
They used Dust earlier. They actually don't have another one. So
They
you
even have
get
an Earn charge to help take off those. Wait, does that take off Refraction? Is that enough damage?
Yeah,
I can't remember what the minimum amount
does.
is. It should be enough, I think.
I think it does, yeah.
Yeah.
So Arteezy's going to probably continue skilling out. Hopefully go stats. Fingers crossed. I've seen that in pubs. Why not propagate
Yeah,
it?
it's pretty
Why not
good.
justify it with pro players? He did get a 10 dual damage, though. And again, his skill build is going to be really good for farming rapidly. He's going to get items faster than he would otherwise due to neutraling. But if there's a lot of early fights, overwhelming odds is a huge difference.
He finishes the drums, and not that we see Clinks get Orchid at all. Oh my god, he is going
Lately.
Orchid. He is
Okay.
going Orchid. I was going to say that a really good spell against that, as long as he's not the one initiated on, is the press the attack.
It's a good game for it. Yeah, good point. Press the attack completely counters it, but if he finds Phoenix solo, he can easily kill Phoenix with an Orchid.
Yeah.
He can probably kill Sand King as well, another hero that's weak to Silence, and Silencer as well. Silencer's dead either way. That's or Orchid.
I've kind of gone off this build for Clinks as of
Do you
late.
play it regularly?
Semi. I'm just talking
Okay.
about like viewing more than anything, because it just feels like it's good for like 5 minutes, and then it drops off considerably a lot of the games.
Yes, Orchid does,
'Cause
especially if you get
like
a little
Manta
behind.
on a lot of these heroes and,
and
RTZ.
BKBs and
Yeah. But it might not be bad this game, because it could
And they
create a
can
lot of
s-
space for Spectre. I mean, that's your carry this game, right? It's not Clinks at all.
Yeah, speaking of Spectre, he might get ganked here. They smoke 2 big team fight heroes up here. Arteezy's in position, Fears as well. He doesn't have Epicenter, though. He just used it 25 seconds ago.
Really?
I am not sure what happened.
In Fountain, just testing the mechanics
I
of...
really don't. Okay, he's going to go by the creep wave. They might go now.
All right, they get the Burrow Strike on Apasha. Nice stun there from Sioma. Arteezy, though, with the duel. This should be another 10 damage going his way. Sioma attempting to TP out. The egg will not come out in time.
That's a big kill, though. They
It's a
needed
big
that.
kill. Spectre did spend all his gold. He's going for drums, by the way, which I think is a good choice this game, especially since the aggression is definitely coming for EG.
Yeah, if your opponents are looking to fight earlier than you, then sometimes you do need to focus on that earlier build. He may not have gone this if he didn't get ganked, but due to his death, he's going to go for...
I mean, it's not many carries. You can get like these utility/tanky items and still be really good late game, but it works so well with Spectre and the
Yeah.
way that she's built as far as her
think
skills.
It's only because of her ultimate, I think. Because she can continue to get kills off while farming. If it was just her farming, then I don't know if you could justify it, but because she can just use Haunt and contribute to team fights a little bit, I think it
But
just doesn't matter.
some have to do with dispersion as well, right? Once you get that. As Arteezy gets initiated top, and don't think he's going to try to duel his way out of this one.
He's blocked really hard.
He's blocked horribly, and who's going to get this kill? It's going to go to the Jakiro. Maybe not the first choice for Vega, but nonetheless a kill.
They didn't use Haunt either, and it gave Earn charges to Spectre, so they can move this into another gank here pretty easily. There is Global Silence on Silencer, but there's no Supernova.
Sumail
for
Grave
Phoenix.
chilled up. He's going to blink. That's the beauty of Refraction, is the counter initiation
miss
Fear is
burrow.
going to miss. And that'll break things up for this mid lane engagement.
They will try to get some bats, and oh my
Oh,
god,
wow,
they're
that
gonna
was
kill
actually really
almost
quick.
all of them. Need
One more hit,
attack.
Fear. Might even blink for this. Oh,
That was nicely
a
done.
nice casual dive auto attack from Universe.
That's absolutely worth it, because now Visage doesn't have any ultimate for 60 seconds.
Is that a 360 no scope? Is that what the closest equivalent would be?
You know what,
in-
I'm going to
in
agree with
Dota
you
2?
there. Except it's a 360 mouse click, but
But there's
there's got to be a
no-
better one.
Like what? Like Sniper doesn't do anything cool like that. He has Assassinate, but that's technically a no scope. But there's nothing three. I guess he could do
Alright,
a
alright, I got
360
it.
solo in the meantime, taking some damage mid. Blink out from Sumail as Clinks shows up out of nowhere. Soul Assumption's online, but Sumail's out of vision at the current point. Ops Refraction again. Oh, they're gonna dust. PPD dust no one. He's gonna take a ton of damage. Great counter initiation from EG as they get a surprise kill onto Clink. Global Silence used on top of that to try to save Arteezy, who's negative earn charged up. Mag attempting to chase, and there's the haunt. That should be enough to take out Arteezy. Fear gets a nice burrow strike on 2.
Smells dead.
As the egg is placed,
Maybe.
no one's gonna get stunned, but Fear dusted up and brought down by Vega. All right, now you can tell me your analogy. Actually, hold on. Hold your horses, Purge.
Waiting
Hold your
patiently.
horses, Pasha. Very aggressive. Pops the drums, it just runs away. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's 3 heroes. Okay.
Yeah, it's to the point where they either party could outplay them most likely. Pasha looking for the swap around. He gets the dagger. Oh, PBD's dead now.
Peter Dagger just got daggered, and down goes PPD by Pasha's right clicks. Okay, I think we have time for your analogy.
All right, what if Earth Spirit uses Rolling Boulder,
Okay.
aka 316,
Top.
in a up and down direction on the different axis, and then he shoots a rolling boulder. That count as a 360 no scope?
I was thinking he would roll in, and then with the Aghanim Scepter, turn the guy to stone, then kick him back. That's kind of like
Anybody can do that. It's not even. It has to be something skill-based. It's a shit discussion. Let's move on.
That's not that. I mean, that whole hero is skill-based.
The fight could have gone a little better for EG there. I think they're going to grab
Where's
solo.
the duel they're
maybe?
looking for? Don't kill him, Arteezy says.
Wow, that's such good damage. He just cast and pressed the attack on the TA. He basically gave him a moon shard.
Yeah, he regrets it for sure, because that could be 10 damage going his way, Purge.
You're right about that. If you had a Blink
Arteezy's
Dagger.
definitely tilting now, just off that one kill.
I don't know about that one, but
I mean,
Sumail
when they're that close to
maybe-
the tier 1, you don't want to take any chances, obviously.
Yeah, I think Sumail could have gotten the Jakiro kill in the last fight, though. He used his meld quite late. At that point, Jakiro got away. So I think the fight, basically what I'm trying to say is the last fight I think could have gone a little bit better for EG. But they just made some very, very small mistakes.
I'm really interested to see what both Fear and Arteezy get for EG. So I
Well-
guess this is going to be a Blade Mill. Could technically be AC, but
gotta
Blade Mill's
be.
super, super common.
Really good against Spectre especially, because if Spectre goes on you, she does bonus damage, that's going to be pure, and you can reflect that then with the Blade Mill. So Blade Mill is so good, and good against Clinks as well. 2 heroes that do tons of damage just by right-clicking. So Blade Mill will definitely pay off. And
Of course,
luckily,
Mag has a Blade Mill of his own right now as well for Vega.
okay, and he did finally get overwhelming odds, so we're going to see at least some mobility advantage
Yeah,
going
that
to RTZ
level
now.
1, that's a value point right there.
It actually is kind of a value point, but it
Not
still
bad.
should be maxed out. The damage is still really good.
Universe getting chased by Pasha, who pops the drums yet again. Actually, no, he didn't. He's just that fast, I guess. Jesus. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, with the dagger. He's really fast. 3, 1, and 4 now in spec. 800 gold in the bank as well. He might just go Manta first.
Oh,
I think.
wow. I didn't even realize he went Yasha.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's going to be a solution against heroes like TA, for example, because he can haunt in on TA, assuming they have detection of him. And he's got 3 things hitting him, doing Desolate, break-in refraction charges. If he just goes the standard build with Radiance, then at the mid-game point of the game, what's going to happen is they're just going to like blink duel him, blink stun him, and just kill him with like 3 hits from TA.
Even
So-
with all the, I mean, he has drums and urn. He's relatively tanky.
But they have quite good single target, is what I'm saying, with TA and with
I guess
Legion.
they don't really have save, right, for the duel. That's the main issue. I mean, you have Ice Path, you have technicals. You were talking about the lack of just control in general. So I
Yeah.
guess building tankier could be the right. I mean, do you still go Radiance after like a Manta or something like that? Is that still something you have to get?
Yeah,
Or you just go, like,
usually you
Diffusal?
do, but you can also go Diffusal. Just kind of depends.
And there's the Orc. That's a really late Orchid, though.
You get
as-
the duel off, if you will.
Yeah, we got a duel on the solo. Fear's going to do some collateral damage with the
Nice.
Sandstorm.
So-
And that is 34 damage overall for Arteezy.
So that's how they approach. They just do a blink stun while Arteezy runs in. He uses drum and overwhelming odds, and then he just presses the duel button, and they get kills. So kind of an interesting way to play it.
Sumail, in the meantime, being scouted out by no one on the Clinks.
There's no
Nothing
no
will
way
come of
about
that. I mean, does Arteezy still go Blink at some point, though? I feel like you... It's so, I mean, maybe even Shadow Blade would be good.
I kind of like the Shadow Blade idea, but I'm not sure if that's the best. Blink is kind of bad because of Spectre, if he gets
that's
Radiance.
true.
So I think that's one reason why he's opting to go this build. But again, the same thing. It's 2,000 gold item. If he just doesn't buy it, then he's got all that gold into something else instead. Then he fights better. Here comes
Tier 1
TP in
being
the fight.
forwarded up. We have some TP support. Haunt is used. Sumail's Refraction's already off. And Arteezy has duel up with the Blade Mail. Looks like the majority of EG is going to get out. As Global Silence is going to be popped. Vega, they're on the back end. Arteezy getting initiation onto Pasha. They're going to blow him up easily. And that's more damage going the way of Arteezy as everybody's getting the hell out of the way of that egg. It won't really pop to stun anybody, but it doesn't matter because the Burrow Strike, Blink Dagger's online for Fear, and EG looking extremely good right now. Sioma kind of stuck by this tier 1. Arteezy and company going to try to take out... They care more about this bird than Jakiro. Like, take out this bird. Don't care about THD at all.
He
they're gonna
just
get it.
resummoned too.
Oh, that's
So
rough.
Visage is having a really rough game.
Yeah.
EG fought that team fight so well though. They got Universe into the trees while he was silenced, so he didn't die to that initial burst. And once he was able to put the Supernova down on top of the dual target, no one on Vega went for him. And at that point, Vega all had to spread out, and they were on different sides of the egg.
All right, here we
so
go.
EG just got to pick them off one by
We're
one.
going to see the Orchid come into play. He's got to do it now. Oh, he's seen. He gets the Orchid off. I don't think there's going to be enough damage, though.
Yeah.
And Universe just gets away. This Orchid, it feels very underwhelming right now, especially if
Yeah.
you can't get kills right off the bat. He got I feel like 19 minutes is extremely slow. Is that not the case?
He bought a lot of other items. He's got a full magic wand, ring of Aquila. He got a
that's
bottle.
true. He went. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's not super late, but again, that same issue is at EG. They put themselves in safe positions. Their supports don't get picked off very often. They cover each other. They team fight together. And also, Silencer's gotten a lot of stat levels here. He's just gone for 1 Glaze of Wisdom. He's not even messing around with Arcane Curse. He's just going stats because he knows that they lose this game if he gets picked off 7-8 times by Spectre or Clinks. Then those heroes are going to outcarry his carries. So he's playing it safe. His position is always near allies, and that's going to ultimately help lead them to a win.
Fear, in the meantime, halfway to an Aghanim Scepter, and that is one of. I love doing these top 5, top 10 lists, but this feels like one of the best Aghanim Scepters in the game right now.
I really didn't know if you're going to say best or worst there. That's how I feel about it. It
what?
can
Really?
be really good, and sometimes it's really amazing, but
You know,
other
it's
times
cool
I'm
because
not.
you can go really late game. Like, let's say you go ridiculously late game. You can actually sell your Blink Dagger and not really feel that bad about it.
Yeah, and that's a really good value for it, for sure. But relying on your Burrow Strike for your initiation can be problematic, because then
Well, I feel like it's not just the range, it's the Caustic Finale is super big to have in fights. Everything at
Yeah.
your Burrow Strike gets applied as far as heroes are concerned.
the slow is definitely good. 30% after 3 seconds. It's very good. It does 110 damage as well. So basically, it makes your Burrow Strike do 400 damage instead of 280. That's awesome. Not to mention it's AoE, but I think it's pretty worth it just for the range alone. The Caustic Finale thing, I'm not quite sold on yet.
Sumail picking up the Aegis as Roshan's taken out very, very fast next to the Desolator. No one's scouting things out. And, I mean,
Remember how the laning stage went with TA? Like, he just got screwed
Yeah,
so much.
exactly.
And now he's got just as much farm as Clinks does.
that's pretty insane.
I mean, a lot of that is also that EG was prepping for kills on his lanes. He didn't have to rotate for those, so he was able to focus on farming, whereas Clinks was like, I'm the only gank hero on my team here.
Oh, Mag, Burrow Strike into an Arteezy duel. He's actually doing a lot of damage to himself.
Okay, you got it.
Arteezy barely gets the damage. He's going to fall in the end. So 1 for 1. All the damage is all that matters. PPD. What did he get healed by?
Mech from Universe. That was
Oh, damn.
huge there. Absolutely saved him.
How was he in range? Must have been right at the limit.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I was like, where did
Because I
that
thought he
heal come
might.
from?
I thought when you said that he dived and then meched or something.
Sigma
but
in
he
trouble.
died
They're going to
still
epi
there.
this.
Epicenter Burrow Strike combination and Sioma. He did.
It's a big kill. No Yules for him, just a 4 staff. Sand King is now about 800 away from his Aghanim Scepter. And the Clink still hasn't gotten a kill yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no one has just dominated this tournament. This is like the first game I feel like has been super underwhelming. Don't think he's gotten a single kill with this Orchid, and he has no way to stop the TPs, of course.
Yeah, this
So
is
having a rough
getting
game.
tough. TA picking up a Yasha should probably be a Manta afterwards, just so he can remove silence from himself. But,
Who is this?
The TA.
Okay.
But it just gets harder for Vega as the game continues. Spectre's up 2,800 gold, so he's working towards Radiance now. But even picking up Radiance, I don't know if that's going to be the teamfight win. They still have to deal with Global Silence. They still have to deal with Duel, which is kind of just shutting down one hero. It's tough for Vega. They're having a lot of trouble getting kills off, and no one is just simply not going to farm as fast as TA will. At some point, TA is going to have way more items than him.
And right now, EG, with that Aegis, and of course the Blink Dagger, ridiculous burst damage from Sumail. And Arteezy stuck right now, or I say stuck, right now he's at 62 extra damage, which is not too shabby at the 25-minute mark. He's going to press the attack up and looking for a kill,
Okay.
won't find one immediately though.
Spectre doesn't go Radiance. He picks up Diffusal Blade.
Ah, okay.
He's like, all right, we need to win fights right now. We're going to lose. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with this.
that
pickup.
alone's a good solution. I said the other day that Diffusal Blade breaks the second proc on Refraction. That's actually not true. So it's still pretty good against TA. Draining your mana is actually quite good. But until he gets a Manta style, I think this is going to be a little underwhelming as an item. It does also provide you some armor. That part's pretty solid because TA is doing almost all physical damage. And he can also remove Global Silence. That's another really good part about it. So he can just
Yeah,
jump
that's
into
true.
the fight and do whatever he wants. He might go through the Diffusal Blade charges fast, but they need to be able to win fights like really soon. Otherwise, Vega's going to get outplayed late game.
No one takes out the tier 1 mid. Fortification was used, but of course that's the freebie. And no one himself is going to have the BKB pretty soon. That'll keep him a little bit survivable, but he just doesn't have damage now, right? Like, he
Yeah.
has to have a creep eaten at all times. He has to kind of save that BKB for when the Global Silence is up, which isn't always an issue since you don't want him to be the one initiating in fights anyway. But the fact that he's going to have an Orchid and BKB
It's not
Doesn't
a
sound good
great
on paper.
place. It's not. Like, Clinks is one of those carries that usually gets an item, and then he gets some kills off, and then later he buys BKB, but you'd like to delay that BKB if possible. And if you're already having trouble getting kills, the BKB is not the solution. But he has to get it, because in the team fights, if he just gets burrow striked into Fire Spirits and he doesn't attack fast, or he gets global silence.
Does BKB take off Fire Spirits?
It should, yes.
So in theory, he'd be able to take out the egg pretty much no problem.
Yeah.
With that BKB.
Unless he gets dueled.
Well, that would be an issue. Got to get the Lincolns next, I guess.
Although that wouldn't be the worst if he's able to pop strafe and BKB.
Epicenter, by the way, used to full effect as Visage drops to the deck.
It's okay. It was just a support. No big deal.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
not a
mean
big-
anything.
Shout out to Pimp, our observer. You guys can tweet him at Pimp Muckle.
At Suraction Slats.
Yeah, at Suraction Stats.
That's so hard to say. All right, so he's got Ags on. Sand King again increases his burrow strike range. It's so far right now. It's like a Blink Dagger range. That's amazing.
It really is. It's actually
It's
insane.
actually farther than Blink Dagger goes.
Originally, I thought that the burrows... looks like no one's going to use that
Okay,
BKB
well.
to get away, so that helps him survive.
Not dead,
Yeah.
but that's his 10-second, man. I wish
Yeah.
you could like choose what second BKB was. That'd be kind of cool. Be like, I'm gonna use the 5-second here, and then you're
Yeah.
like, you know what? This feels like a
So
7 fight.
When you hit the BKB, it comes up with a multiple choice option. Which would you like to choose? Which second?
You're like,
5 to 10. This is
Eight.
difficult to hit in fights, but it's worth it in the end, for sure.
Then the best players will just be the ones that can activate
Yeah.
the BKB time. You got 10 hotkeys
Let's
on
make
your
this
keyboard.
game harder for people to play.
Just turn your F keys into your BKB buttons.
Oh, PPD running away right now. I think he placed a ward over here. Is no one?
He's got a force. If Spectre goes in.
Global Silence is still up. His Burrow Strike is used. And no one. There's the Global Silence, but no real effect as the cogs are blocking everybody off.
They're fighting Spectre in
Oh,
the back.
Pasha is stuck in the river. He gets Burrow Strike. Oh,
hook.
man, Pasha. Nice hook shot. Counter initiation from Mag, but the Supernova goes off. No one trying to take it out.
Oh, the
his mind
duel.
with the duel. Just the counter you were talking
Oh
about,
my
Purge.
God.
And 2 dead for Vega in this engagement. Arteezy does fall, but gets the damage, so he'll be okay with that. Pasha, in the meantime, ticking down to the negative earn charge. Among other things, Sumail and Fear getting destroyed by this Macropyre. But I believe Sumail will be able to get this. Oh,
That was a
nice
sick
4-staff
four-staff.
TP out by Sioma.
Dude, that duel, Arteezy did finally decide to make his items in here look like a normal Legion commander, and he bought a Blink Dagger, and it
Yeah.
absolutely won them that fight. If he didn't duel the Clinks there, the egg would have died, and it could have changed everything, but the duel completely shuts him down, and Arteezy did ultimately die, but absolutely worth the sacrifice.
Oh god, Sumail taking a lot of damage to these birds. He's going to get healed up by the Sunray of Universe. A spell we don't really talk about very much.
It's
On
quite
the field.
good.
It's really good in theory, right? Like,
Yeah,
depends on the situation.
It
but-
lowers your HP by 5% per second, up to
and it
5
doesn't
seconds,
disable
6
your
seconds.
Tranquil Boots, right? So you can get some of the HP back.
Yeah, not sure about that. But I mean, he's got so many regen items. Tranquil Boots earn and a Guardian Greaves. He did buy both boot sets, but you know, Guardian Greaves as an upgrade, especially if you're against a silence, you need it. Like, it's completely worth it.
The Orchid is
I
so
mean,
useless now. Even more useless.
He basically spent about 3,000 gold to be able to remove a silence from himself. That's kind of expensive, but
It's worth it.
the mana pool as well is very good. And
Well, if you really think about it, the one hero that I mean, obviously Orchid is good on every hero, against every hero, but the one
Yeah.
hero you were really targeting was Universe, and now it doesn't do anything as long as he has that up.
And it also means that his mech doesn't cost 250 mana anymore, so he can kind of guarantee that he's able to supernova. It's ultimately going to be just fine. He hasn't even died yet. Universe
Oh, we have the
playing amazing.
initiation from Vega, but Mag hook shots a creep, unfortunately. And now he gets, the huge Burrow Strike Epicenter combination. Sioma's going to be the first to fall. And my god, the crit is out of control for Sumail as he finds a second kill there. And he's chasing Pasha. Gets the slow from the trap. Blink Dagger's not up for another 6 seconds. Another trap to follow. Doesn't have anybody that close to him as the Haunt is popped. Where does he end up? He ends up in mid lane. He gets dueled. It's even worse. The absolute worst location to choose. And that's 3 dead as EG looking to take this 2-0.
So if you duel somebody in a ticketed game, does it count for your cosmetics?
Don't think so.
That's the real question. All right. Well,
Actually, I can tell you. I can.
he's got
No,
Shadow Blade.
he's had
picked up now, too.
131 this whole game, so it does not work.
Yeah, but it just said 138 when he killed him.
Yeah, but if you look at his, okay, well, it's a bug.
Okay, I'll take that as the next one. They're gonna kill the birds again. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, is that the newly spawned? No, he has another spawn if he
Solos.
needs to, but
Just
he himself is
completely
dead.
dies.
He just spawned these as well.
Like,
Well, he drops into the deck here, Sioma. It's a nice Ice Path Macropyre, but not going to do a whole lot. The birds will survive at least.
Universe stealing so much
I
here.
hear a
There's a BKB.
BKB. Who is that?
He just Shadow Bladed to get away from that.
Oh, Mag. He cogs up Sumail. Sumail taking a ton of damage to no one. Arteezy jumps in and just takes more damage for himself. That's a plus 108 going his way. Sioma, a beautiful ice path, 4 steps to the high ground. He's going to TP in his own base to his own base as the Sunray continues to heal up EG.
I have never seen so much heal coming from a Sunray before, but it's working so well. It's actually a 20-second cooldown ability. Like,
They just took out the Birds Purge. I think that's it.
yeah, like
Birds
that's
are
the first
gone
time
for a
we've
long
seen
time.
that one. Why do you even mention it anymore, dude?
Birds are dead for the 8th time this game, ladies and gentlemen.
The only time I see those birds is when they're dying. That's it. I haven't seen them participate in much of a team
They
fight
did
yet.
some damage to Sumail at one point, but yeah, it's
Well,
not.
jeez, Arteezy and EG just completely stomped this game here. Like their laning stage went great. Nobody got ganked. You could tell based on the picks that they said, okay, there's no way we lose this team.
Who says they can't play on Lux, Purge? Huh?
I was thinking that too. But they basically had no threats of ganks. There's the blink duel.
Yeah, another duel going the way of Arteezy.
Here it is,
That's
146.
146.
It said one. Wait.
So,
what?
do you know if you look at the actual item here, does this update in game?
I'm gonna
That's what
assume
I'm not
it
sure
updates
about.
after the game.
So when the game ends, so maybe this does count. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we'll see if he can double his duels 1. He still needs about 120.
Yeah, not
to
doing
go,
as well
but
as the first game he played, right?
yeah,
in that pub game.
He's really, let's be real, he's been underperforming compared to that pub game. But
No doubt about it. He has a Shadow Blade, by the way, in addition to a Hyperstone. In all likelihood, will be an AC. Although it could be Mjolnir. How's Mjolnir this game?
it doesn't matter anymore, actually.
In theory, which one is better this game?
I kind of like Mjolnir versus Spectre. That's kind of
Mjolnir's
a cool
pretty
idea,
cool.
but it's very likely going to be an AC to resist physical damage from Clinks.
It could also be a Moon Shard.
That would be all
This
right.
game is actually more likely to
Or
be a Moon Shard
Solo.
than anything else, as Solo bursted down to a high degree. Arteezy
All right.
using the overwhelming odds.
119 more to go. Almost there.
Is this the counter we're going with?
They should be able to get the bot racks here, most likely. Sumail's got Aegis. He's got a Daedalus, Manta.
Fear keeping no one at bay, by the way. Gets the Burrow Strike. Should be able to blink
Oh, he might
out.
die,
Oh,
though.
the Haunt is here, though. They're going to be
Nice.
using that to take out Fear. In the meantime, bottom lane, Universe pops his mech. PPD taking tons of damage. He can use the Global Silence, trying to get healed up to the Sunray as the Supernova pops, and nobody's getting that bad boy. The Universe will be back with full HP as Pasha gets bursted by Sumail, and no one is next on the list. A couple more right clicks will do it. Does he have vision? Indeed, he does. Double kill for Sumail. There's no way Vega comes back from this, as they call it GG. EG takes this 2-0. Second game, much more convincing than the first.
They just had a draft that did everything that, and they stopped everything that Vega wanted to do here. It was pretty incredible. So, congrats to them for taking a 2-0.
Yeah, so with that, this is... Okay, this is a 2-0 for EG, as they are guaranteed to be in the grand finals of Captain's Draft 3.0, presented by PIA. And keep in mind that they will be playing the winner of tomorrow's match, which is a best-of-3 between Alliance and this very team, Vega. So that should be a very interesting match. I know a lot of people are hoping for EG Alliance. That's, I guess, the dream for all the memers out there. But Vega has been playing so well in this tournament. This is the one time that they fall short in the playoffs, obviously, since this is the upper bracket. But should be an interesting best-of-3. Let's take a look at the couch with those 3 beautiful men to see what they think of this series. Take it over, guys.
Thank you, Sunspan. You're a beautiful man yourself. Right back at you. Man, what a series, guys. EG in good form. Game 2 was all EG all day with that funky lane.
It was an ownage game from EG. You're right, it was funky, but that was them at their peak, I think. That was just impressive play from every core. Sumail, Fear. Universe had some amazing plays on the Phoenix, which is generally sometimes not considered the best hero, but I think they overall just decimated Vega. Honestly, it was a lot of fun to watch.
TA got pretty much dominated for like the first part of the laning phase, and but then Kling started moving around like Perch said, and like he didn't get anything accomplished. And I mean, Sumail's the king of the comebacks, especially laning phase. He's just
True.
his Storm Spirit 0-4 to godlike in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
Can't leave him
It was
alone.
insane. We talked about it in the draft how versatile that lineup was in terms of how they could set up the lanes, and that was possibly the most unpredictable way they could have done it. Jungle
Yeah.
LC just doesn't exist in the pro scene. It's almost always off lane or safe lane.
We saw him once way back, I think, at another tournament like a couple days ago, and it actually worked out. It was Complexity, I think, was running it, and they did it really well. But
Yeah.
to see EG do it at a top tier level against Vega, which is a tier 1 team at this point, It's pretty damn impressive. It's really, but the problem with this is that everyone's going to see, oh, Jungle LC is now viable. Let's go ahead and do it now.
Have fun in your pub games, NA Dota fans. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights of that game for anyone that joined us a little bit late. And I think Purge hit the nail on the head that this one's so easy for EG because they weren't pressured. When you have a jungler, usually that means your lanes are a little bit weaker. That jungler is susceptible to rotations, and that wasn't really quite the case.
Yeah, that was sick right there. Sumail just ran uphill where they didn't have vision. He melded, and then they just dusted and blew him up.
Yeah.
Sumail was so close to dying. Yep. The Ice Path just barely missed him, and I don't know if it would have gotten the kill. I had to hit him anyways. The Ice Path damage is not really that much.
Yeah.
Pasha was looking good. He got a double kill. You could see he's like, I want to go in. Okay, let's not do that. And then he just backs up.
Yeah, and I think we definitely need to talk about this Spectre build a little bit. Straying from the norm, though, we're seeing this more commonly now. The Phase Drum Urn, all these early combative items. He went into the Yasha and then Diffusal, so obviously no Radiance. And when he bought the Diffusal, he had at least like 2,800 gold, so they could have slowed down the tempo and picked up the Relic. But
that's the bad man build, apparently.
Yeah.
So he is 8.6k MMR player, I believe as of today. So people have been playing it more and more. I was watching a couple of other games, and I think I saw a couple of other people picking up that similar item build where you pick up the Yasha first, you get the Diffusal, and into the Manta cell. I don't know if even if he had a Radiance, how much that would have affected the game, honestly.
Yeah. This definitely, this Legion commander got the most duels out of any of them. We saw Black, actually, he won a game, but he didn't get a duel till like 30 minutes. Artur here just got treads and started running at people, and he was getting tons of duels. I mean, with Sand King setting you up with his early Blink Dagger.
Right.
Pretty dang helpful.
And then once Fear got the Aghanims, which is coming up, I think, around the 25-minute mark. I mean, that is just
an insane stun range.
It's nuts, especially if he gets the Aether Lens on top of that. He's stunning from across the map. Like, he's not even in fog, and you just, across the river, it's nuts.
And that was a super turning point fight, because not only did, two of them die, the Spectre, the Visage lost his birds twice.
Yeah.
And it was a 160-second cooldown there.
So no one comes in, they haunt here. Sumail, that's the Burrow Strike right there. That's the Aghanim Scepter. No one was not expecting that. He somehow lives for a little bit longer, and he's actually able to get out. But still, Pasha was left alone because the Cogs separated his team from him, so they had to wait a long time. And then, again, it's just the Burrow Strike. That's an amazing hook shot coming through, but Sumail was kind of just like left alone, and everyone's focusing
the egg. Right there.
Yeah, the duel to stop no one from hitting the egg. That would keep the universe alive. And at that point, it was cleanup time, I think, for EG. I mean, that's really what it came down to.
That's like the dream Aghanim Scepter reveal for a Sand King right there. They have no idea that you can stun from that far away, and it completely won them this team fight. I think it was a 2-for-4. Jakiro does end up getting away. Really nice force staff into the fog. Fear almost stuns him to interrupt, but he comes in just half a second too late.
Yeah, he did it right on top.
I mean, if the only hero that is surviving at that point in time is going to be your Jakiro, it's just really not. Yeah. It's not great. I mean, and this is another fight. This one, oh my God, such a good blink from Sumail to get away from that hook shot.
And Sumail was 3-0-5 at this point.
Fear just completely won this exchange, though. Stun on 3 with an Epicenter, picks up 2 kills right away, and everything else just falls into line.
Dude, he was doing some good damage himself as well after getting a couple of kills going his way.
This is just painful to watch.
This is like you just need to die, and instead of dying, he's just like, well, I guess I'm going to get dueled, huh?
Yep. And he had that one last
Sumail attack.
Attack hit him as well, making it an easy duel. Just extra damage going to Artur.
And yeah, we were talking about also the Orchids on the Clink. You haven't been seeing it as much lately. And I mean, it made sense. You could chop down some, maybe catch Sumail out of Refraction. It's an easy kill, but it just never happened.
Yeah, and the other problem is press the attack. I mean, that's a way to deal with Orchid really effectively, and there was a Manta on Sumail in a pretty timely manner.
Did he go Medallion first, or was it like just Treads Orchid?
Treads Orchid.
Because I feel like if you go Medallion, at least you have some armor reduction. There's not a whole lot of armor on EG side anyways. You kill him a lot quicker.
I mean, I understand the thought process behind Orchid here, but EG just has so many low armor heroes that an early, even just Medallion alone would have done so much work. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... There's a reason why you don't see Orchid as much anymore, and it's just Desolator and
that was a good sentry. That was a good sentry ward there.
Yeah, that sentry was huge.
Yeah, and it scales as well now that the Solar Crest is there, so it makes that build for Clinks not quite as early game focused as it used to be. So good news for EG. That means they're going to the grand finals, so best of 5 awaits them. First or second place guaranteed, and we have only 2 series left. Tomorrow will be the best of 3 lower bracket finals. Oh, there it is. Oh, the good book.
You don't want this book, guys.
Oh, the good book.
Let me tell you a little bit about 50 Shades of Grey, okay?
Well, Slacks could tell you about the lore of it. He loves lore.
Oh, yeah, he can get deep in this, okay?
More than 100 million copies sold? What?
What I was reading was actually passages from this book. So if you thought That's ridiculous. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. Then you need to pick up a copy of 50 Shades of Grey, okay, in case you're really interested in this book.
We fucked up. We should have gone for the 50 Shades sponsorship for this
This is my
tournament.
copy.
I don't know why we didn't think of it.
We could have, but we would then be supporting more books and movies made of this series, which there's like 3 of them apparently. This is my copy. Of course, I was reading it over at Moonduck and Chill way back in the day, which is what this spawned from.
That was pretty good.
I mean,
that was a good Mafia play. I remember that. The look on Slax's face was priceless.
So, who do you guys think is going to win tomorrow?
Vega versus Alliance. It's a big matchup.
Yep, and Vega was the last team to beat Alliance,
yeah,
right?
they 2-0'd the crap
Slaughtered
out of
them.
Yeah, they really did.
It was an absolute slaughter.
Alliance have looked amazing, though, since then.
Yep.
I mean, they lost the one game today, but that was a very close game.
Loda was pretty sick during that series as well.
Right.
So, it's always hard to tell how much of a factor that is, but I think you can't look at that series and say, oh, Vega wiped the floor with them, they're going to do it again. I think this will be a completely different series.
So do you want to do predictions then?
I honestly think that's a really even matchup. I would give a slight edge to Alliance only because we've seen them play more games. Now we've only seen Vega dominate over Alliance very quickly and lose 2-0 to EG in a fairly handily display. Game 1 was closer, but still EG was obviously had a big advantage throughout the entire game, putting pressure and just cornering them in their corner of the map. I think it's like a 55-45 Alliance with a slight edge. That's what I would.
I would give a 2-1 advantage to Vega. I don't think it'll be quite the 2-0 advantage. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking, well, why? I just feel like Vega is going to do something crazy or absolutely nuts, and Alliance is going to be taken aback.
The pocket strat.
Like you said, it's 55-45, and I would 100% agree with that. Like I would not be shocked to see Alliance 2-0 or Vega even 2-0. Like there's a chance for all three of those things to happen. And I just think that Vega, if they get the right heroes in Captain's Draft, they'll be able to pick up a pocket strat and go with it. The same could be said, though, for Alliance. And what it comes down to is I just think Vega's going to win.
Yeah,
What are you thinking, Grant?
I'm feeling Vega, too, just because they're, like, how they play versus, like, a team like Alliance who's more into the mid-game team fighting. I mean, EG is more into, let's just farm a lot, early game, build space, mid-game, Sumail, Arteezy. One of them's going to find farm. Doesn't feel like Alliance is like that. They're more into the mid-game team fighting, and I think Vega just runs at people better, and that could be a problem for Alliance.
They are a CS team, so.
That's true. So that means it'll be 2 EU teams tomorrow, which means we'll be starting at the exact same time.
Yay,
It's 9 a.m.
you're up.
local, so early mornings for us, which is 17 CET for those of you on the other side of the ocean there. So that wraps up our coverage today, though with this early end, I think there's a plan for some board games. Maybe Sunsfan, you ready to play Agricola? Huh? Settlers of Catan, perhaps?
We don't have settlers.
Can I say the name of it?
It's a board game.
We have a special surprise. We're not sure if it's arrived yet, but it's not released yet, which is what's exciting about this. That is the surprise.
Yay!
We got a copy of Secret Hitler. It was created by one of the co-founders of Cards Against Humanity, and it's one of the new games. It's not out yet. It's very exclusive. I saw Total Biscuit was tweeting about it earlier, so I think he might have gotten it as well. Secret Hitler, right?
Yeah,
that's the name of it.
That's
Secret Hitler. So we're excited to see what that's like, play it, and share that with you guys.
So also the thing about Secret Hitler is that it kind of functions like Mafia a bit. So if you guys are interested in Mafia, which of course a couple of us were at that event, you might be interested to watch Secret Hitler. There's a little bit of that social kind of game.
It has it has a Mafia vibe to it.
Right,
It's sort of
exactly.
a similar infusion. So that
And
should be
memes, a lot of memes,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, everybody loves memes. So thank you so much for joining us today, folks. We've got 2 days left of coverage, one best of 3 tomorrow, then the best of 5 the day after. We're going to take a break, then we're going to come back with some fun stuff to wrap up the stream today. This is Captain's Draft 3.0 presented by Private Internet Access. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back.